Welcome to the Worth Listening podcast, where we focus on having positive and productive conversations around money. I'm your host, Lauren, a 4-time Olympian and certified financial planner. On this show, my guests share their money stories. Everyone has a unique story and experiences both wins and losses when it comes to money. My intent is to give listeners something they can relate to, something that builds their courage to be open and take control of their own money story. When I'm not creating a great show for my listeners, I'm running my company, Worth Winning, where I help individuals and families organize their finances. Check us out at worth-winning.com. All right, now on with the show. Hey, I hope that everybody is having a good day. So, you know that this podcast is all about being transparent, and I gotta keep it real with y'all. My birthday is coming up and I'm having a party in Detroit. And I've been super sad because a lot of my friends are unable to attend because their money is funny, but it is no laughing matter. And it's been really tough for me to have gone and got all these financial degrees and certifications and started my own company only to not be able to help the people that are closest to me. But I have to remind myself that we are all on our own journey, and it is not my job to do anything but to meet people where they are and to be their friend no matter what. Ultimately, making life changes and trusting someone else to help you through those changes is something that each of us has to decide to do. There is no forcing anyone to do anything. And I know that when you choose change, success is inevitable. So if you have made the choice to change your financial situation, but you don't know who to talk to, where to start, what to do first, you got some options. You can always hit me up at worth-winning.com, or you can go to napfa.com, or one more option is xyplanningnetwork.com. Those are the 3 places I believe you can go find someone you trust and get your stuff taken care of. So without further ado, let's get to this podcast episode. Today, I am excited to have Melanie Finnegan here to share her money memoir with us. Melanie is the founder, CEO, and managing partner of Tax Lien Wealth Solutions. Yes, she is an expert in tax lien certificate investments. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I didn't know what tax lien certificate investments were until I met her. That is not something that is an area of expertise of mine. But one of the things I really love is the way that she connects those dots for us today, in addition to telling her story about the path she took to reach the level of success she has. And we've all come up against different things in life that some decide are things that are going to hold us back. But Melanie did not let one of those cliche things hold her back by any means. She was a single mother that worked hard to provide for her son, and at the same time was finding her journey, finding her place in life. But I don't want to ruin the story for you, so let's just listen to Melanie share her money memoir with us. Melanie, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Hi there. Thank you guys so much.
Well, I just told everyone a little bit about you, but let's go back and learn a little bit about the beginning of your story. Give us a little introduction about where it all got started for you.
I grew up in a fairly blue-collar family, hardworking, lots of truck drivers. My father was the chief of police. My mom worked in clerical and administrative work, but I was very close with grandparents and uncles. We all lived right by each other, and they were all fairly blue-collar, but everybody was happy. We were a good, awesome family. We camped all the time. You know, I'm in Utah, so we're very much into the mountains. But my grandparents are my financial angels, I guess, if you would. They're the ones that taught us, our entire family really. It started with them, and it was invest in real estate. Save everything. You don't finance a car, and you don't go into debt. You don't have any credit cards. So I've never financed a car, and I have one credit card my whole life.
That is awesome. Yeah. It's really great when you have influences like that help you from a very early age. Did you have siblings as well?
I had one sibling, and then I had some stepbrothers and sisters as well, but they're all much older than me. And then tragically, we lost some of our family in an automobile accident when I was 17. So I really had to learn and hone in and grab. I floundered at times financially as well, too, just even though I had that foundation, if that makes sense. I always say to parents, like, make sure you lay the foundation because the wayward will find it again. When we flounder, we'll go back and find it again.
I think that's a really good point, that what's ingrained in you from an early age sticks, even if you shy away from it from a little while, you find your way back because that's something that's been a part of who you are for so long.
It is. It's a part of our makeup now, at this point. And it wasn't like pounded to the point they wanted you to buy land. They knew land was important. They made great money. My grandpa paid cash for his house. He bought bricks with every paycheck and brought them back to the lot. Yeah, I'm not like that, but live simple. They want us to live simple. I have a little tiny farmhouse that I live on, and I live well within my means so that I can plan, but I haven't always been that way. But that's where the foundation came in.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about life from middle school age into high school into college. What kind of financial lessons were learned? Did you have a job, or what kind of things were you thinking about money kind of in the adolescent stage?
Okay, so I started working at a really young age. My mother's best friend owned a snow shack, and I started working at a snow shack at 14. And then there's a gas station here in Utah that's called Maverick. I'd go buff the Maverick floors 3 nights a week at like 11 o'clock at night. So that was when I was 14. I'd only be there for like an hour and a half, but yeah, I would go do it at 11 o'clock at night and I'd buff all the floors. I was so strong back then. And then I did not go to college. I had the fortunate opportunity. I got pregnant young. I was 19 and I got pregnant, and I have a 20-year-old son now at the University of Utah, and he's doing really well, and he's just killing life. Really, he is. He's worked for me and things like that, but I did not go to college, and I felt failure from that for a long time. I felt disappointed in myself in that for a long time, but the experiences that I've learned and educated myself on have been, now that I'm significantly older, right? Like I said, I'm 40 years old. I mean, obviously, as a mother, I would never change anything that happened. That's the greatest gift in the world. That's the best part of me, as my son. But I don't look back at it now and think I failed. I look back at it now and say, like, holy cow, what a great opportunity my life took. Again, it was definitely like this. It was, up and down. It wasn't smooth sailing, and I didn't have help from family. I lost my family at 17. I was a junior in high school. I've been on my own ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, like one day life changes.
Yeah, I mean, you speak so much about overcoming adversity, and I think one of the things that stands out to me is this idea that the not traditional path. I don't think that there is a such thing as a traditional path anymore. Some roads are bumpier than others, but I really dislike when people try to say like, oh, you did this wrong, or you didn't do, like, it's like, no, this is my story. This is my path. And at any given point, you get to turn your story around. You get to make it better. You get to learn and grow in the midst of where you are. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did. So what kind of advice would you give to a young mother right now, especially from a financial standpoint? Because it's a lot harder when you're getting started. And like you said, you didn't have the support system of a family because you lost your family. So talk to the young moms out there about how they can do it. And you bought your cars in cash. Those are all the things that I think a lot of single moms come up against. And they're just like, I'm never going to make it financially.
I really believe, and people will say this is like the hippie in me or whatever, but I really believe in the power of positive thoughts. And I have a lot of gratitude for life. My natural thinking is I think positively. Not to say that I, as a single mom, I mean, I had lights turned out. The day your son takes a cold shower because you don't have heat on, that's the day that you're like, but this is what I did. And I would advise not to do this to young single moms or any single mom, is don't sweat it. Because tomorrow it's going to be better. It's every day. It just gets better. Like it's a thing of the past. It's worrisome. And the chaos that you put your body and your health through and your emotions through with that worry, it's not the end of the world. It feels like it. It feels like it. And I tell anybody going through a divorce or anything, I'm like, you're about to embark on the next chapter of your life. This is going to be the most beautiful moment you get to embrace and have a new life, a new start. You get to take care of you and your son or daughter or children and be independent. Be independent. Love who you are. I always say, I love Melanie. I like hanging out with Melanie. Friday nights alone are cool. I'm okay with that now. But it takes time to get to that place.
Definitely. I think that's really good advice. All right. So tell us a little bit about what happened after your son was born and all through your 20s. How were you organizing your finances? What kind of work did you find? And how did you start to set yourself up in a financial way?
So I was less than paycheck to paycheck. I was bartending. I was working full-time doing customer service, or I didn't even have the confidence to apply for appropriate jobs. I had the intelligence and the capacity to learn. Obviously, I'm here today as a business owner. I just didn't have the confidence to apply for appropriate jobs. I sold myself short. That's another thing I would tell your listeners and young mothers or women, that don't sell yourself short. Like, shoot for the stars. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to tell you no.
Right.
I struggled financially quite a bit. And then I got married at 25, and he was really well off. And I got a little bit complacent. This is a little bit even codependent. And then got divorced. Best move that he could have done for me was getting divorced. I didn't have any money to fight him, so I never got any money from him, anything like that. And I had to start over. And that was the end of my 20s and then my 30s. And I'm here now and I'm 40.
One of the key things that stood out to me was you said, I did not have the confidence. You really hit a gold mine there, because so many people have the capability, but don't have the confidence. And I think a lot of times lack of confidence comes from not having a great support system, not having people who are, kind of lifting you up, not feeling like you're good enough is a thing that will hold you back, even though you are. Finding that confidence is an important part. And sometimes you make a financial mistake. And we talk about financial mistakes a lot on this podcast. And so now you feel like I'm less than worthy because I did this thing and I know I did wrong. But it's about, like you said, don't sweat the small stuff. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start to live more confidently. And that'll in turn take you to where you need to go and get you back on the right path. So I really love that you brought up confidence, because I think it's a really big thing that holds a lot of people back.
It is a key component, other than obviously knowing what you're doing. But when you have that confidence, when you're applying for jobs and putting yourself into society, that's what you are. That's who you are. Your confidence exposes who you are. And there's nothing wrong with being confident. Loving yourself and knowing you're capable or you're willing to learn, start there. Say, I'm a good learner. I'm a great learner. I study. I want, right there. That's a huge thing. Just start there. And it just starts to build, I think. Confidence didn't come easy to me, but when it did kind of hit, I did have value in myself. I do feel like, hey, I can do something.
All right. So let's pick up where we left off then. You said divorce, done, finished, and you're kind of starting over from scratch. What happens next?
Okay, so I'm 30 years old. I'm starting over from scratch. Went through kind of a icky divorce. Divorce brings out the worst in people, I think. It brings out a little bit of a monster, including myself. I wasn't my kindest self, and I tried really hard to be kind, but emotion just gets to you. And not justifying it, but I'm broke. I had nowhere to go. He sold the house out from under me, and I ended up having to live in my neighbor's motorhome with my son for 30 days. And then I lived in a basement apartment, and then I moved, and we live in a teeny tiny town, has one stoplight, like it's tiny here in Utah. And I moved around the corner and I rented a house for $550 a month, and it was my little farmhouse that I own now. And I've lived there for 10 years. But I went from a massive house, right? Like the big house, the nice stuff. And I knew I needed to simplify my life. I knew who I was. I knew I wanted to have a big yard, a big garden. I didn't need fancy anything. That's not who we are. I rented the house for $550 a month. I was applying for several different jobs. And then there was a job in my town that had to do with tax lien certificates. But the job was for marketing and customer service. I think it paid like $14 an hour. I can't remember exactly, but I think it paid like $14 an hour. So they emailed me right away after I submitted my application, but I was over at a friend's house or something. I can't remember, but it was in the middle of the summer, and I have a 1969 Volkswagen convertible Bug. And I always say my Bug got me my job and changed my life. I was so concerned that they were just going to think, oh, there's this hippie girl. I've got my hair in a ponytail. I'm a mess. It's summer, and I'm in there applying for the job. But when I pulled into the parking lot, there's two vintage, just like mine, vintage Volkswagen restored Bug. I walk in there and they're like, is that your white convertible Bug? And I said, yeah. And two of the three owners owned the other two. And we just kind of hit it off.
I'm going to fit in well here, right?
Yeah. VW people are very, very close family. It sounds nerdy, but that's how we kind of hit it off. And then they wouldn't let me do the marketing job. They said, your love of people and your passion, you're organically a good listener or speaker. But I didn't know anything about tax lien certificates, and they wanted me to be a portfolio manager. And I was just like, I need the job. And I started the following Monday and went up and grew and became the expert. For a while, I was the only one on the West Coast with the certification that you need to have. And I traveled everywhere, taught a strategy that we've taken global, and then parted ways from that company and started my company 3 years ago. But we really launched last August.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That is just really, really inspiring. I think for people to know and understand, like, opportunity knocks and you just got to bust through the door. That's what I'm hearing from you is you showed up. I needed to make money. I applying for this job. I don't care what I look like. I've got to get here and I've got to take advantage of this opportunity. You walked through the door and so much more was waiting for you. And you didn't shy away from it. You didn't run away from it. You didn't say, like you said, we talked about confidence earlier. You didn't say, I can't do this. I'm sure you were nervous, Nelly.
Yeah.
What the heck is tax lien investing? But you did it. And it sounds amazing. So the other thing we got to do is pause and talk about like what exactly tax lien investing is. Let's break that down for the listeners.
It's an investment put by the government. So counties and 26 of our 50 states are tax lien states. The others are tax deed states. But where the investment comes in is, let's say Melanie, the homeowner, has property taxes. So it's a claim. A tax lien certificate is a claim against the property for unpaid property taxes. But Melanie, the homeowner, comes in, Melanie doesn't pay her property taxes for the year. The following year at the annual tax sale, the counties need this money so bad because it's their budget, right? That's how they take care of our police officers. Obviously, I have vested interest because my father was the chief of police, but they do that. It's 80% of our school's funding is from this, the nation's school, and there's 14 billion delinquent property taxes a year in the nation.
Wow.
They need to incentivize investors. So what they do is now Lauren, the investor, comes in and wants to be the investor on the certificate because the state offers a set rate. For instance, I'm in Florida. I'm not located there. That's where I buy my inventory. Florida is 18% a year or 1.5% per month. So it's pretty killer return. And you can get acquisition on it.
Wow.
You have complete control. You are the superior lien holder. Even if a mortgage doesn't come in and rescue it, you supersede the mortgage. The only lien you don't supersede is IRS tax liens, your tax. Like if Lauren had a tax lien on her income tax. Okay,
so Melanie didn't pay her property taxes. A year later, I swoop in and I pay the $3,000, we'll call it, property taxes. And now I am the owner of the property. I can do whatever I want as long as there's no IRS.
You're not owner of the property. You're just yielding interest at this point. So you've paid their property tax. The county has it. This has existed since the 1800s and hasn't really changed. So because it's working, but you're just an investor. They've got their money paid and the property is protected for the first 2 years.
Okay.
After that, 2 years in day one, you can go in. Lauren, the investor, can foreclose on Melanie, the owner's property. And it's all done online. It's so easy in Florida because it's a non-judicial state. But you don't go through the typical foreclosure proceedings, very inexpensive. Now you file foreclosure. What you're going to do is force me to pay because otherwise I'm going to lose my property or my lot or whatever it is. Or it's going to go up to deed auction. And then if it doesn't sell at deed auction, Lauren, the investor, is awarded the deed to the property. You can do whatever you want with it.
Gotcha. And in the meantime, in that 2-year time period, while you're trying to figure out how to pay, the state of Florida is paying me or the county is paying me.
On paper. Mm-hmm. But you don't receive the payment until they receive the funds. So the county facilitates everything. You never communicate with the owner. You can after the 2 years in Florida, but you also don't have to foreclose on the property. But it does have a statute of limitations in Florida that you can only hold a certificate for 7 years. At 7 years and day one, it will expire. And you've just paid somebody's bill for free.
Yeah. Don't want to do that.
That's why we come in. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit like who is a good candidate for tax lien investing?
Everybody.
Everybody.
I pigeonholed myself a little bit as a business owner and because how I was kind of trained and what I was doing is that we were more for retirees and up and coming retirees. But my son started at 15. He owns 3 properties and I did it for him. He's not as active in it now because he's busy doing his thing and stuff. And we just barely got our first client, our first youth client. He's 15 years old. I'm inspired by this young man. I just want to mentor him the whole way throughout. I just want to do anything I can to help him because he's so motivated and he's went through some really hardships. Single mother's been raising him and she's approving it. Any leftover penny she has, she puts it toward his future. And they're really inspirational. And it's for everybody. You can start anywhere because it can start with $50 or it can start with $20,000. It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
Just depends on the certificate. Yeah. You're not going to make very much money and 18% on $50 is not anything. But if you want to start and learn, then start small. Let the investment earn your trust.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always try to drive home to people is ultimately it's about what you can save. So you first got to have something to put into something. A lot of people are very excited about investing, but it's exactly as you said, if you got $50, you can't expect 50 to turn into 5 million.
Mm-mm.
So the first step is to gather some funds for yourself and make sure you have financial stability in place so that these are kind of extra funds that, like you said, you're putting out there. With investment comes risk. Now you've got this investment over here and it's a substantial amount of money, which gives you an opportunity for a substantial amount of return. But you got to get the foundation in place first.
And I know that's hard for people. Like I will do programs with people sometimes, like I'm helping people and I'll say, I do a check-in, like an accountability check-in with them. I did it more when I was with the other company because I was not the owner of this company. I'm trying to train my staff to do that, to check in with people who are saving, hold them accountable, ask them where they are, make sure they're answering the phones, and kind of do like a program where you're helping them, like kind of like what you do, but I'm not certified or anything like that. But I just want to help these people. And I know I believe in this investment. I'm such a nerd. I'm so passionate about this and helping people that it's easy. It's not work, right? It's easy. I love what I do. You just have to get in that mindset. And if you need somebody to hold you accountable, get somebody to hold you accountable. It's worth it. Your future is so worth it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Accountability partner goes a long way when it comes to organizing finances. And that was kind of the reason I started this podcast is because I believe a lot of people are very secretive about their money matters. Society, for some reason, has taught us that it's a taboo topic we're not supposed to talk about. But in fact, talking about it, like you said, is what is going to help you go to the next level. It's going to help you get information from someone else, going to help you form your own ideas. And then in addition, talking about it with someone that's going to hold you accountable. They're going to know, hey, I said I was going to save $10,000 by XYZ date and I'm not doing it. Someone to kind of kick you in the butt and say that, hey, get going, or let's not go out and have a drink because you got this goal is a really cool thing to have. And so that's why it's really important to be discussing money in all kinds of different ways.
Yes, exactly. Have a mentor that supports you, that sees your vision. There's no shame in being broke because I promise you, we all have a different set of cards that we're dealt. Nobody is dealt four aces. We have to draw a couple. We have to do this. We have to go around the table a couple of times. None of us are dealt those aces. So there's no shame in being broke. There's no shame in having an experience that is going to change and alter your life in a positive way if you allow it. The learning and growing from the being broke that I went through, game changing. And because I never wanted to go there again.
I completely agree. It's like you got to go down to appreciate the upswing. If you're always up, 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 you don't have anything to appreciate.
I always say that. I'm like, if there's sun in the sky every single day, we wouldn't love it as much. We got to have the gray clouds.
Yep.
We've got to, that's just life. And I'm learning business every day. I feel so humbled by this. I feel like magic has been touching me a lot because there's been some luck that's happened all winter long. I'm sleeping at the office, round the clock, building the website, doing things like that, finessing myself. It takes me a lot longer to write a code on something that's very simple than anybody else, but I can't always afford that superior IT or anything, marketing. You know how it is. You've got to learn it. So yeah. I've become, in a year, I feel like I've gotten 10 years of education.
I completely understand. And I think other entrepreneurs out there will definitely resonate with you in the sense that it's like, I want to do this one thing, but I have to wear these 50 other hats I hadn't really considered because I don't have the budget to get this one thing going. But in the meantime, you just keep putting those hats on. So
yeah, I don't know who I am anymore. I'm IT, I'm customer service.
Yeah, like, let me tell you a little bit. Like, and they're like, Lauren, how do you know this? And I'm like, yeah, because I had to figure it out. I stayed up all night building my own.
But you're an asset to yourself. You're an asset to your employees. You're an asset to yourself and your clients. I just think that's what all that rolling your sleeves up and working hard and doing it yourself is. I wonder what it would be like to start a company with a lot of money, because I think I wouldn't work as hard if I just had it given to me. I work hard. People are like, don't stroke on us. I'm like, I'm not. I take care of myself too. But you have to work hard. You have to be willing to learn and embrace those hats.
I agree. Speaking of learning, so what aspect of money are you interested or trying to learn more about right now? Where are you taking your financial knowledge in?
So I'm raised in real estate, so I love real estate. I've never flipped properties. I'm very interested in doing some flips, utilizing a retirement fund to do that, because you can use your retirement funds to invest in real estate as an alternative asset class. So tax lien certificates. You can self-direct your IRA. I'm not sure 10% of our nation knows about that. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. You probably are. But yeah, it's an approved vehicle for that. So I want to kind of get in, and for myself, I'd like to flip properties and do it because I have so many contacts everywhere and so many opportunities that come to me. I should be in there and doing it. It's time now. And how fair is it to my business if I do it?
Mm-hmm.
But that's my next step. And I want to do that. And I want to teach workshops on it.
How are you educating yourself in preparation for your first flip?
It's more of networking myself so that I know that I have power teams behind me. Nobody can do this stuff by themselves, I don't think. I mean, if you can, my hat's off to you. But I need as many people in my corner. If you can teach me something new, teach me. I don't take it as criticism. If I make a mistake, tell me. I need to know. I own it. And I have a national following, but I'm learning to really reach out and ask people for advice. That's the education right there, is learning from the experts. I am not the flipping expert. I'm the tax lien lady. I'm not the flipping expert, but I would like to be, or pretty dang close.
Yeah, we're stronger together. I think you bring up a really good point. When you can get over the idea that you have to do it alone or that this is all on your shoulders, like we put so much pressure on ourselves and we have a nice infrastructure around us. It's like you just got to tap into your network and the resources around you, and it's going to make you and the people around you better.
Well, and you never know who's going to inspire you. People touch our lives every day. Like, that's what I'm honored about too. And it's like, even like I've really gotten into listening to podcasts a ton this last year about startups and businesses. And I've been so inspired by these and motivated, and don't feel like you shouldn't ask people for advice or help. Let them inspire you. Let them add value to your life, the quality of your life. I've met amazing people and clients that have become family to me over 10 years. And this is because we have these conversations that are real.
Yeah, real conversations. I love it. Okay, now we're coming up on what I like to call the final sprint. So I'm going to rapid fire some questions at you.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I won't be so long-winded too.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah.
That was the long-winded part. You gave us some really good information.
Thank you.
So, are you ready?
Yes, go.
She said, yes, go. You got $20 in your pocket right now. What do you spend it on?
I'd probably like $20 to my name. If it was my last $20 to my name, I wouldn't spend it. I wouldn't spend it. If it was just $20 in my pocket and I didn't have a bottle of wine at home, I might go get a bottle of wine.
There it is.
Yes, that's pretty organic. That's pretty authentic of me. Don't be mad at me, but I usually have a bottle of wine at home. So that's my Achilles heel, right? Just I like to have a glass of wine.
Everybody has one. Speaking of which, tell us what your worst money habit is.
I don't want to. I don't balance my checkbook.
Oh, you still have a checkbook.
Well, meaning I don't keep a balance. I'm just like, I was always really strict with my checkbook, and I always knew exactly what I had in there at all times. My business one, I have an accountant help me with business, of course, but with my personal one, I just swipe the card.
You are lacking a budget, a big bad B word.
Yep.
Best thing that ever happened to me.
And you're absolutely right. That's why I said we need to talk.
Yes. All right. So we talked worst money habit. Tell us your best money habit.
My best money habit is I am a cheapskate. I don't lend money to anybody. I learned a lesson from that because that's a very hard lesson. You get very disappointed. Sometimes I've been disappointed in close friends, hurt, not because I didn't get the money back, but because they didn't care enough about me to just pay me $10 a month. That's the thing that then it's too risky for my relationships that I have in my life. I just won't lend money. And I'm a cheapskate, so I don't buy my clothes and I buy cute clothes, but I order them from places online from China. And I really shop around for things. When I'm doing any of my housework or doing any of my rehabbing at my house or anything, I do a lot of the work. I learn how to do it myself because we can do that. If we're able to do that, you should. That's kind of where I am. I just kind of stick to my monthly budget, but I could lower it significantly.
That's good. There's always room for improvement. Mm-hmm. All right. Tell us something that you do for fun that doesn't cost anything.
I'm a camper. I'm a hiker. You guys remember I'm in the mountains in Utah. So we are in the mecca of the outdoors, the lakes, boats, wheel boating. I love gardening. I'm a huge yard person. I'm a little OCD about it, but I love gardening. It's very therapeutic for me. And just being in the mountains. I was raised kind of in the mountains. That was our church.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. And last but not least, can you tell us one thing that you want to improve about your finances in the next year or so?
I need to have a couple of different streams. So I need some other different revenue streams because I know running this business, it can't occupy all my finances, but the golden rule, right, as you know, 7 streams. And I justify my busyness. Like I'm so busy, I can't look into other things. But I think I'm a little worried. I just get scared to learn something else when I'm on overload right now. I need more streams. I want to be creative with it. I'm not greedy. I do not like risk at all. And people love risk because it makes money, but I'm very conservative even when I invest my clients or when I'm doing my own investing. So I just want to establish a couple more streams, probably rental properties and things like that.
Okay. That's awesome. All right, Melanie, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are getting your gold medal. That was the final sprint.
Woo!
Yes, yes, yes.
You're awesome. Thank you. I've loved this. This is a great, thank you.
You are a gold medalist of the Worth Listening podcast. So this is your time to shine. Tell us all about how we can support you, what you're up to right now, where we can find you, anything you want us to know about how we can take you to the next level.
Okay, you guys, my company is called Tax Lien Wealth Solutions. The website's just taxlienwealthsolutions.com. Go there, just make an inquiry, submit a contest form. We're giving away awesome monthly prizes, good ones. Mentorship, that's a $2,500 value. My learning portal subscription, which is a $1,000 value. And then you guys get to access my inventory of tax lien certificates that I purchase and parcel out. So if you want to start investing in tax liens and learning a facet of real estate that you didn't know existed, give us a call or just go out to us on Facebook. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, LinkedIn. Just go find us, taxlienwealthsolutions.com.
Awesome. Well, Melanie, thanks so much for being on the show. This was amazing.
Yay. Thank you guys so much.
I hope you enjoyed listening to Melanie's money memoir. She brought up some great points, including why you might not want to loan money to friends and family. Creating a debt collector relationship can make maintaining a good relationship on a personal level very difficult. And it's okay to say no. Sometimes it's necessary if you want to maintain your friendship with the other person. So our word of the day today is confidence. Melanie shared that there was a time in her life where she held herself back because she didn't have the confidence to apply for jobs she should have been applying for. Confidence plays such a large role in how we decide to handle our finances. But here's the hard part. Confidence isn't going to grow through lack of action. When you start to take action, even if it feels a little scary, that's when you're going to grow your confidence. And sometimes it's about aligning yourselves with the right people to help you make that progress. It's exactly what we talked about at the top of the show. You have to make the choice to decide that enlisting the help of someone else is going to pay dividends far beyond what you can do by going this road alone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We hope you found this episode worth listening to. As always, if you have financial questions, suggestions for guests, or you would like to share your own money memoir, please contact us through our website, worth-listening.com.